Welcome back, and you're still on to Spotlight with Mercy. And at this point, I've been joined by someone in the studio to analyze what the situation on ground is going to look like, or is already looking like, as of tomorrow. And joining me in the studio this evening is not someone that is new to your face. It's someone you have seen on several occasions. Bright Chukwebo, who is an in-house analyst, joins me in the studio. Very good evening, Bright.
Good evening.
Glad to have you join me in the studio. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let me start by saying, and of course our viewers, at this point the phone lines are now open for you to call in and give in your contribution. But before then, let me say a happy independence in advance to Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. It is not looking like it now. It might not be looking like it now, but trust me, Nigeria is going to be great. Nigeria is great already. Bright, happy independence in advance.
Oh, happy independence to Nigeria indeed.
Indeed. So what is your view, or what is your point of view, or how tomorrow is going to look like? You know, we are aware that there is a protest that is going to happen tomorrow, which is tagged National Day of Survivor, and also the same tomorrow Nigeria is celebrating the 64th Independence Day, 64 years after gaining independence. What is this whole thing going to look like from your own perception?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. First of all, I would like to say happy independence to our dear nation, Nigeria. You know, a man who is 64 years old is no longer a child.
He should have had grandchildren, if not great-great-grand.
There are expectations from different zones that the man must have put in place. So this is our expectation from we, the grandchildren. What has Nigeria put in place for those, the future generation? Actually, our past leaders has paid a huge price to bring us this far, for this country to be better than other things. And I remember a national anthem will say, the labors of our heroes past will not be in vain. So here we are. But tomorrow is celebration. In other hand, tomorrow is what?
Protest.
National Day Survivor.
Survivor, yes.
So it's actually a coincidence, and it's going to be interesting anyway. It's going to be it's going to be dramatic because in a situation whereby from the beginning of the inception of this particular regime, the citizens, Nigerian citizens, has been asking the government for one thing: to meet their needs. That is what Nigerians. They're not expecting much from the government, just fitting their needs. What are their needs? The fuel aspect, make sure the fuel is in good shape, education sector, health-wise, what things that will affect the common citizen.
Man, yes.
Just fit it. Whatever you want to do, they don't care again. Just make sure that they can assess what they needs to be assessed. The first mistake this regime makes was removing fuel subsidy. And where we are right now, we are in a chaos now. We don't know whether the first subsidy is being paid for or the first subsidy is still in function. As of today,
I read that Nigeria has saved about 5.7 trillion naira from fuel subsidy.
Wow.
I saw that in news today.
Yeah, it's actually laughable though.
But the thing a lot of Nigerians are asking is, where is the money going to?
Exactly the point. If we've saved that amount, we shouldn't be in this chaos that we are. I remember the Minister of Finance said there's no money, if we saved such amount, that amount can do a whole lot.
That's trillions, not billions, not naira.
Oh, it can do a whole lot. That amount of money can do a whole lot. It can revamp our refinery if that right. Can be finalized. It can do a whole lot. So at times I don't believe in those things that I call it audio money, because they're not there.
They're not effective.
They're not there. If we are to ask, I saw in the news on Friday, they said federal government released about 24 billion to the household, and each household will get 25,000. And my question is, who and who received the money?
Exactly.
Who and who got their lot?
And even at that, what is 25,000 naira going to do for someone, not a single person, not talk more of a family, as it is? A bag of rice I heard is about 100,000
naira.
There's
220,000, 120k.
Wow.
So,
but let me add, tomorrow Nigeria is celebrating the 64th Independence Day. We are grateful for those who have fought to bring independence to Nigeria. Yeah. We are grateful to God also for His mercies upon Nigeria as a country. But what, in your own opinion, what should Nigeria be celebrating significantly, what should we be celebrating? Because before now, I've heard of a lot of people. Before I came on air, I've wished some persons happy independence. They were like asking me, what are we celebrating exactly? What should we be celebrating after 64 years of gaining independence? What do you think is worth celebrating in Nigeria? Will you talk about the security aspect? Will you talk about the education aspect? Will you talk about the health sector? Will you talk about even our political system? So I am curious, as some of other persons are, what should we be celebrating exactly? Do you have a clue of what we should be celebrating on, as 64 years of independence?
It's not a beans. It's not. I believe, I know the president will address us tomorrow.
Of course.
I pray so that tomorrow should be a new beginning of a new change in some sectors, in some decisions. Do you understand? The decisions that was made that was not in tune or in line in what is what is affecting the public. If which common citizen in his right senses would think of embarking on a protest on a day that his country is celebrating their independence? No citizen. It's because the citizens are not happy.
Exactly.
People you are leading are not happy. So the problem we are lacking in this government is responsiveness. They don't respond. When the last protest that was held, you saw how it ended.
Exactly.
There was no positive response. And now there's another one about to embark tomorrow, which we don't have a picture of how it's going to look like.
Exactly.
What is going to happen. Right now, I believe they must have been sensitizing the public, sensitizing the government that we are going on a protest. Now, nothing has been said. We've not heard anything from the presidency. We've not heard anything from the security agency concerning the protection, how the citizens are meant to be guided and protected. So we see that we are having issue of responding, the government responding to the citizen. When a plea is made, when an appeal is made, the last protest, with the things that happened, the end part of it was not good. A lot of persons was arrested, a lot of persons' account was frozen, a lot of persons was hacked. Why? People that came out to exercise their right as a citizen, because their needs are not being met. Yes. They are out there on the streets trying to appeal to the government to come to our aid. We've gotten it. It has gotten up to our neck. Please come to our aid. But instead of the government helping, they are turning it backward and start arresting them and hacking their accounts. You see that there's an issue somewhere. There's a problem somewhere. So I'm appealing to the government tomorrow, that is Independence Day. It should be a day of new beginning. I believe the president should address the citizen to soften. A lot of persons are angry. The citizens are not happy. There's hunger. So many persons are depressed. So many persons are committing suicide on a daily. So this is a time where the government has to start thinking about the citizen, the people they are leading, and forget about themselves. Now it's for the citizen. This is the people you made promise to lead and to bring them forth to light. Now it's as if we are no longer seeing the light. We are entering the darkness. And the president keeps telling us, be patient, take it, baby step of pain. We have been patient enough. For how long are we going to be patient? Now I saw in a video where the president was making a statement. He said, we've been in hardship. How do we get here? So I found that actually funny. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. It was funny. It wasn't funny. A president, you don't know how we got to the point that we are like. The president is asking the citizens how we get to the point of hardship, how we get to the point where there is insecurity, how we get to the point where the health sector is dying, how we get to the point where students are no longer going to school, how we get to the point where there is a lot of catastrophe and things are beginning to transmogrify and change there are a lot of things. And you are asking the citizen, how do we get here? The president of a country. I remember the president making a promise to us that he will continue for where the past administration stopped. And he is going to do what? Do more. And we know the president as a man of strategy, a man who has done this before, who was one time governor of the Lagos State, who changed Lagos to a better state. So people had their ideology that when he becomes the president, a lot of things are going to change. But right now, we don't actually know what is happening. We don't know if the president is so busy that he doesn't know what is happening around it. So it's high time that tomorrow being the Independence Day, there should be a change. There should be this speech. In fact, people are definitely expecting something good, something nice from the president. Because first of all, this whole thing started from on the day of inauguration.
Yes.
First subsidy is gone. That is where the problem of the masses started. Now, to bring it back is something that is hard now to get.
But I don't know if you listen carefully. During the first protest, the president, even after the protest happened and the president addressed the nation, he made it clear that he wasn't going to bring back the fuel subsidy. He made it clear. And now, I am curious, the demands of the masses were not met in the first protest. A lot of demands, I'm not even sure of one that was met. So, in your own view and perception, would this protest make any difference?
I'm sorry to say this. I feel like this protest is just going to be like the other protests.
Okay.
I told you that we have an issue of a responsive government. Our leaders don't respond.
Okay.
So if the best, I don't know, because we've gotten to the point where we know that they'll just make the noise and everything will end. And do you understand? So, and they forgot that 2027 is fast approaching, where the people will have to do what they know how to do best.
Sorry, to cut you short, you said they will just make the noise and everything remains stagnant and as it is. So I had someone here in the studio that I was talking about this protest issue with, and he said that, I was like, okay, we are aware that the demands of the masses were not met in the first protest, and what's going to make the difference in the second one? And okay, how long, what if the second one doesn't make a difference? His response was, are we going to continue to keep quiet and die in silence, that Nigerians are going to keep on protesting until the government pay attention or give ears to their plight? Do you think that will ever happen? Just like you've just said that the government is not responsive. So do you think that perhaps maybe, just maybe, this people keep protesting on and on and on and one day just maybe the government might respond? Do you think that is ever going to happen?
Do you know why I kind of talked about this protest not hidden? The last protest that was held, our brothers over there in North changed the narrative of the protest, and probably they started destroying properties. Probably right now, those properties, the amount of money that was released to replace those is still the money that was supposed to use for the masses. They were supposed to use to fix things. Now, tomorrow, probably a lot of things, some things might happen that might scalocate, and it will end up in another way. Exactly. So I feel like the leaders of the protests, or the Minister of our Youth, Minister of Youth, and I think there should be a roundtable talk with the government. Let's really meet a night. Let's really have a head tie on this issue. What is issue? That is why I said that we are having the issue of responsive government. You might have a meeting, at the end of the day, waiting for the response. It will take ages for them to respond. So this high time, even the protest now, tomorrow now, you and I will see what will happen here in FCT. There will be a lot of securities out there. Even the securities
it have started since yesterday. Okay, if you go on the road, you see soldiers are being mounted everywhere. The type of security you've not seen before, you start seeing them. Exactly. So you start wondering, are we fighting war? And yet in the midst of that, insecurity is dealing with us. Exactly. So if I'm to say, I say that our government actually knows what to do. They knows what to do. If they want to work, if they want to implement things to be in favor of the cities, they will do it. But right now, I don't actually place my hands on what is happening. But someone will say, that's why we need to go in a violent way, we go in a protest way. From the time I've read in the history of Nigeria, I've never seen where they said the protests rather there's loss of life, loss of properties, and there's nothing really. So it's when there's a good dialogue,
the organizers of the protest, the best they can do is to show their face and meet with the government. This is what we want. This is how we want it to be placed. We need to have a round table talk. There are opinion leaders. There are people speaking for the youth. There are people that are organizers of this program. They should make themselves known and see. This is what we want. Do you understand? Now, right now, it's looking like they are out there hidden people.
But the thing is, this government is beginning to look like what this government is doing is like robbing Peter to pay Paul, because if you remember clearly, you understand that during the strike that took place between the Nigerian Labour Congress and the federal government, the NLC president Das Ajero was saying after the 70,000 naira minimum wage was approved, that's after a lot of negotiation, and they came to conclusion on 70,000 naira. And a lot of Nigerians, there were a lot of questions that beg for answer. What is 70,000 naira going to do for a family, a household, where a bag of rice is above 70,000 naira?
70,000.
Then the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress now said that the president promised not to increase fuel. That is why that should he increase the minimum wage, that's going to cause the increase of PMS.
Yeah.
And that so for the PMS to remain at the price which it was at, that's about 2 months ago or thereabouts, that the 70,000 naira should be the agreed minimum wage. But we see what happening today. During the time of that strike, fuel was 600 and something. But as of today, if fuel is about 1,000, is 1,000, not even about 1,000, and even above 1,000 in some places. So what do you think? Do you think the government are being sincere enough to the citizens?
Honestly, I would say that would I say that there was no sealed, there was no good sealed agreement with Nigeria Labour Congress and the government. I remember General Ajero saying that, I saw that was last month, say, the government betrayed us.
Yes, that's when after the federal government.
So I was asking myself, was it that the Labour didn't have a sealed agreement or signed agreement with the government? Because if actually you came out as the president of Labour, because you and I at Labour, you are the mouthpiece of the masses, you are the mouthpiece of the citizens. We're expecting you to go out there and speak for us. So it happens that you went there and you didn't make decisions right, and you came out and started saying that government betrayed you. You need to be questioned too, because the agreement we were told that the government said that they will remove fuel subsidy, they will bring down fuel, then why minimum wage will be 70k?
Yes.
That was why I said there was a video random video that period they were doing
those are for Mr. President.
this same you came out and shouting that we are betrayed by the government. We are betrayed by.
But what do you think he would have done? Because according to him, okay, there was an agreement which he said that the federal government told them that should the 70,000, should the national minimum wage be pegged at 70,000, there won't be increment in PMS. But after a while, and that was what made them to agree to accepting the 70,000 naira national minimum wage. But after a while, in just a few weeks after, we saw that the fuel went from 600 plus to 1,000 and above 1,000 in some areas. So that was why he said the government breached the agreement there. So if you're saying that we are disappointed in him, or him too is a suspect, what do you think he would have done? That I was telling you, I said something there. I don't think there's a sealed agreement. Even if there was, do you think they are capable of fighting federal government? Except if our government is now stronger than our judiciary. That's what it means. And how well can you trust our judiciary? Except that if it's that way, that means our judiciary is no longer active and strong. Okay. Do you understand? Yes. Yeah, judiciary, which is the last hope of a common man. Exactly. If our government, if they are stronger than our government, you know, at this point, there's no hope for any common man. But I believe, because I told you that we're having issue with a responsive government. So whatever you are doing with them now, you need to be smart. So we need to be right now. The Labour are in a scale. Would I say they are in a scale that they don't know if they because
they are being played with. They are smart. They were played with.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Their intelligence was tampered with.
Their intelligence was tampered with. So that is why if you're a leader, you must. I don't know how I will say it. I'm not saying that our labor leader is not strategic or is not in, but as a leader, you need to be strategic. You need to be. You need to be 10 times faster, ahead of whatever you are doing, because you and I knows that, number one, the minimum wage, the 70K that they agreed, is going to take time before it to be implemented. You and I knows that reducing or increasing the fuel is something that I don't know how it's, because we've gotten to the point. This let me say the truth. I'm not trying to support this current administration, but this current administration, they inherited a lot of debt.
Okay.
They inherited a lot of debt. So, and they steal from the same party.
Exactly.
That is why the people are angry with the president, because the president said that he was going to continue for where the past administration stopped, and he is going to correct everything correctable, whatever that needs to be fixed. Corrected. And they believe him as a strategic leader that will come and put things in place and or do what iron things out. So him coming there, there was a clip I was watching. I saw he said, I think he was I don't know whether he's the minister of but there was a minister that said that it's as if the thing is becoming the what they are seeing is really choking them off, because this is not the kind of, they never expected to see such amount of debt and other thing. That was why our vice president have to go to.
But president said he was prepared.
That is
when you're going for war, it then tells that you are prepared, and you said you are prepared. That means you're prepared to face both wild animals and your fellow attackers and the fellow people that came to the same war from the opposite. If you're watching all this African movie, all this African movie, another kingdom. That means you should be prepared to face the warriors of other kingdom and wild animal. But the president told us that he was prepared. He was fully prepared.
that is why Nigerians are disappointed at this point. Now tomorrow is the main day. Tomorrow is the target National Day of Survivor. So what right now, let's just say that tomorrow they will respond to the citizen. They will definitely, but I'm yet to see a memo that the president will address us tomorrow or something. I've not seen that, or concerning the protest. I've not seen anything from the presidency that will be addressed concerning tomorrow's state.
But he never did address the public even during the first protest. His address came after days of the protest. After
some days, when things must have celebrated, and he didn't actually give the citizens what the citizens wanted to hear. He didn't actually give it to them. He skyrocketed the process. So at this point, I'm making an appeal to the government. Let tomorrow be a day of new beginning for this administration. Let it be that on the 64th day of Nigeria independence, there was a new thing started happening to the nation. New things started happening to the sectors of Nigeria. Let it be that a day that was tagged National Day of Revival was turned out to be a day of joy, hope. And a day of joy. Like they say it's renewed hope. We've not actually
hope agenda.
So at this point
we don't know if we are hopeful or we are hopeless.
Our hope is being cut short. so let the leaders, let our leaders get it right tomorrow. Let from tomorrow, let it be that for crying out loud, Nigeria is a highly respected country and it's a blessed country. We in resources we are blessed. We are blessed. So I don't see a reason why we should be like there's some things that you hear like this. You say, Jesus, is it possible? Is it possible? So let us get it right. Let us get it right this time. Let us get it right this time. And dear protesters out there, remember your life, you have just one life. And whatever you are doing, do it with caution. Don't try to fight the security agency. Don't try to engage in any toxic fight. Remember, they are trained military personnel there. And you are just a civilian that do not have any experience. Don't try to engage any battle with them. Whatever, when you see that this protest is about to it's going otherwise, retire back to your house. Retire back to your house.
All right, let me ask you. We've seen protests happen several times, and we've all seen the outcome. But before I get you to answer this question, let's quickly hear what our caller have got to say to us. A very good evening to you. Hello, good evening. If you can hear me. Oh, apologies. You might have to call us back. We've seen several protests happen in this country, and as much as we tend to advocate for a peaceful protest, people to stay away from violence, don't get involved in violence, at the end of the day we still see it come out disastrous. We saw that of NSAS, we saw that of end bad governance, and this another one is about to happen tomorrow. Are you concerned that more damage will be caused, or more damage or more harm will be done to Nigeria as a nation? But let's see if we can hear from this particular caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us on the show. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I can hear you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, this is Femi from Lagos.
Oh, Femi from Lagos. Please go ahead.
You see, I was hearing what my brother there was saying. You see, there is no point in thinking about Bush. To look at the history of Nigeria very well. Okay, take for instance, Nigeria is going to be 64 years tomorrow.
Exactly.
The question we should be asking ourselves is 64 years of what? I've seen some developed countries of the world that are moving from one tough to a much easier phase of their era.
Okay.
But look at Nigeria. It was as if Nigeria started on a good note, and as it is now, it's becoming worse. And look at it, we've shifted away from the mandate of having a better nation, having a better federation, to something we don't even understand. I was in the bus last week, Tuesday, and the policeman was busy stopping some cars as he was doing some search or something. But we found to find out that he literally cost hold up by not even parking those cars properly. And what we found out that he was doing was I was actually begging money from them. We thought exercise had gone. We actually still exist.
All right.
Lots of problems are in Nigeria, and it's so obvious that those leaders don't even know what to do. In fact, they don't even want to do anything. And that is why an average youth will be clamoring that once they get to that same seat of power, they too will steal it. Nobody wants to go there and do something right.
All right.
And I think it is time we start taking the bull by the horns. All these things are very simple. All these protests and everything, it's still going towards one thing. Let youth come in.
All right.
How can an 84-year-old man, a president, be ruling a 64-year-old country? What productivity do they want to give us?
All right.
Look at ordinary fuel. It's very hard for them to bring it back to what it was. Before that president came in last year, when was that? There was an amount we were complaining of. And even as at that time, the price was not even comfortable for Nigerians. But look at it now. Very soon we are going to 2000. I was telling a friend of mine that we are going to 2000. He said, I said, because they feel you can just do anything, nothing will happen.
All right.
When they rant, nothing will happen. And that is what is actually pushing Nigeria.
All right. Thank you.
And I just hope that this will not lead to something we don't understand.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution, and have yourself a wonderful evening. Now, I asked something. Are you concerned that more harm and damages would be made again? Like we saw what happened with that of the end bad governance just a few months ago. We saw what happened in Kano. Government properties were destroyed. People's properties were being stolen. There was a lot of vandalism. Are you concerned that things like that will happen again? But let's hear what this caller have got to say. A very good evening to you. Hello, can you hear me? Or you might have to call us back. So please, what do you think? Are you worried?
The truth is that the citizens are about to go out there to like when we started, I was saying that the needs of the citizens are not being met. That is why they are going out there to the street to appeal to the government to do what? To feast. Nigerians are not asking for much. Just feast their needs, some of their needs.
Apologies, Mr. Brett. Let's see if we can get this caller. Hello, good evening. A very good evening. Glad to have you join us on the show. Yeah, I can hear you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you clearly. Where are you calling us from? Oh, you might have to call us back. And Thunder, don't forget to turn down the volume of your TV set. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Kindly turn down the volume of your TV set, please.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm Benjamin. I'm calling from Jos.
Benjamin, or you're from Jos. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
I think what happened that because I could remember my dad once said that you can't use because of a plane crash and slaves entering the plane.
Okay.
Neither taxi. Taxi that you normally have accident and stop entering taxi. This Nigerian situation, if we don't take it in the hard way, our leaders will not do anything about us.
Okay.
So I think man cannot go or die twice.
Oh.
They want it in the hard way, and you're supposed to do that and give them that in the hard way before there will be change in this Nigeria. If not so, I don't see any future about this Nigeria.
All right.
With this our present leaders.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
All right. Thank you very much. And you have the right to protest, but please don't engage in violence. I beg of you. It seems Nigerians are fully ready, and I pray we don't get to a point where there will be need or there will be call for revolution, because I listened to my grandpa and grandma talked about the wars of 1960. It was terrible. Hearing it alone got me traumatized. And I pray we don't get to that. We don't get to that stage ever again. But let me repeat the question I asked you. Are you worried of the vandalism and harms that might be caused, that might occur tomorrow as a result of this coming protest?
Actually, I'm worried. I'm worried because the problem is not about the citizens coming out to do their protests. The problem is the security agency trying to do what? Reciprocate back to them. I remember the last end bad governance. The people that the protests, during the protest, the police have to start throwing tear gas to them. And
we have a consistent caller, so let's hold on and hear what. Hello, good evening to you. A very good evening to you. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Oh, apologies. You might have to call us back. Mr. Bright, please, I'm with you.
So, because of the tear gas, definitely, the people protesting have to start finding way to save themselves.
Exactly.
You understand? So, that is why I said that this country, there is a whole lot of issues. That is why I said tomorrow being the 64th years of Nigeria independence, let it be a day of new beginning. Because a whole lot of things. Now, the last end bad governance that happened, there was no positive response from the government. Now, this one again, believe me, after tomorrow, it seems will just be. So, I told you that I'm still waiting. I've not seen any circular or any memo from the presidency that the president will address the nation concerning this upcoming protest. Do you understand? There is when maybe probably the protests have started and God forbid and it's started it's out of hand. That is when the government. So I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder the kind of is it that the advisors to the president or the special advisors to ES to the president
are not doing enough work?
They're not doing enough work, or they don't relay this information to him, or the president, because the president is a busy man.
Yeah, so, but you know, Senator Ali Ndume said something, but I'll remind you of his statement after hearing from a caller. Hello, good evening. Mr. Senator Ali Ndume from Borno State said that the president is not accessible. That these days when you go, he made emphasis that Mr. President is not aware of a lot of things that the masses are going through, and now them being the only one who can when they make an effort to tell Mr. President how it really is, they're not allowed access to see Mr. President. At this time, he tagged it, Mr. President is, you can't say Mr. President, like they're being denied access to see Mr. President. Are you convinced that Mr. President is not aware of what Nigeria is really going through?
That's what I'm saying. I can't totally say the president is not aware of what he's going to, because he has what is the work of the Minister of Information.
But maybe they're not informing him properly.
Then what makes you a leader is the ability to be able to know what is happening within your among your people that you are leading. Do you understand?
Yes.
Before you sign that agreement that I'm going to lead these people, I'm going to be the shepherd of these people, you should be able to take responsibility of whatever that comes out of it. So everybody, people who know Mr. President have believed that he's equal to the task, he can deliver.
Because he told us, and he told us,
and he told us
that he was equal to the task.
Right now, we are seeing the other opposite of it. That tomorrow, if the youth, they have every right to be angry. The citizens have they have every right to be angry, because if we are in a point where in fact we are at the breaking point. We are at the breaking point, because things are not day to day. You can't. Now dollar is 1,670. It's like a normal. It's like.
All right.
It's like a normal thing.
We are really out of time and need to sign out. But before we go, I want to ask one last question. Do you think it is fair enough to stage? This is the second protest since they under this administration, and the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is just about 1 year and 6 months. So, in 1 year and 6 months, do you think it is fair enough to stage twice protest under an administration that is barely 2 years? Do you think it is fair enough?
It's not fair enough. It's not fair enough, because I will say that 1 year and 6 months, I will say it's too early. Meaning that this administration has inherited a lot of debts from the past administration. Why people are looking up to this administration? Because we believe that it is still their own people. They got the position from their own people. Our president got the position from our former president, Mr. President Buhari. So they believe that he must have seen the flaws and the mistakes of the past president, and him coming into the system will have to start fixing the flaws where they have failed, as people that came from one party. So right now the citizen is seeing otherwise. So it is important that the president, the government have to retrace their steps and start putting things in place. Otherwise, a day will come where the citizens can't support anymore. There will be a revolution, and if that revolution, they will be out of control. It's better you start now. Right now, what I'm expecting the president to do right now is to drop a memo from the presidency that he's going to address the nation. Definitely, he will address the nation based for the independence. Exactly. He also talked about this protest to also calm down the minds of the people, because if you heard from the callers, these are angry people, these are angry youth. They are not happy. They are not happy. These men can go out there on the streets, they can do anything because of what they are hungry.
Exactly. So, a hungry man is an angry man. Let's leave it there this evening. Thank you very much, Bright, for coming. I really do appreciate your presence. It's been wonderful with you in the studio. But before I go, let me say this: Nigeria celebrates 64th Independence Day tomorrow. It's been 64 years after gaining independence, and let me remind Mr. President again that you promised to Nigeria that under your watch, Nigerians are going to enjoy a lot of benefits. Of course, you listed out what your policies are, and you told Nigerians that they should be more patient, and these people who are patient are beginning to run out of patience. There are several promises made by you under your administration. And also, let me appeal to protesters tomorrow to please do well to engage in a peaceful protest. Don't engage in any form of violence. Remember that Nigeria, according to the former president, said it's the only country we have. We have no other country than Nigeria. And I believe Nigeria is going to be great again one day, someday. And with this, I end the Spotlight with Mercy for today. Join us again on Wednesday at 5 o'clock dot. And again, before we leave, happy independence to Nigeria as a nation. I remember Mercy Emily. Keep watching Kaftan Television. Bye.